It was September 12th, 1977, when 5 South African police officers disconnected the last bit of consciousness they had in their bodies and arrested my brother on the basis of hate. On that day, they would make a mistake that only God could correct. They arrested my brother and beat him to a bloody, unrecognizable pulp. They left him to suffer in unimaginable pain on the floor of a lonely, dark, cold, dirty prison cell. Biko was my brother in Christ. And though I have never met him, I have felt his pain and anguish for many, many years, during and after the struggle. Stephen had a way of saying things that were heart-wrenchingly true. He would say things that could make a devil's blood boil in the Antarctic. But they were always, absolutely always, things that needed to be said. He would say things that would strike a chord deep down inside of your feeling cavity. My brother had an uncanny way of making you feel guilty when you didn't want to give a damn. Stephen was a motivator, a soul shaker, and when he spoke, he lit fires in the hearts of his people. Stephen could fill people with fire and brimstone faster than a preacher on a glorious Sunday morning. He could make a beetle believe that he could conquer the world. He gave helpless people hope. He gave them the courage to fight battles that didn't even have a glimpse of victory in them. Stephen showed his people how to stand up for liberty and justice without being afraid. Stephen could push people, and they followed him. I assume September 12th, 1977 started off like any other day for a freedom fighter in a hostile land. Every day you wake up and wonder if there will be a tomorrow. If you will ever hear laughter of love or smell the sweet aroma of mama's prized dishes. You wonder if you will live to see your daughter's first love or your son prove he's a man. Every day, your first thought is, will I live to see tomorrow? I can see Stephen in my mind, crouching by a moonlit campfire, debating with his brothers over plans of actions and his family's safety concerns. I can hear him shouting passionately, to fight in fear for your life? It seems funny to me, especially when you don't have a life now. Is the way we live now life? At least we will be able to call heaven our home. Let's take back our place, our home. Let's make a life for ourselves and a future for our children. I can feel the temperature rise in the village. I can close my eyes and hear the chants ringing, rising up through the danced up dust clouds. I can hear the boldness of my people's courage magnifying into a power that lights the sky with magic. A magic so strong that it empowers a weaponless congregation. I can still hear it all when I close my eyes and I think of Stephen. Well, this day will prove to be the most difficult day Stephen would face. It will be the day when he would finally be forced to search his soul. It would be the day he would relive every right or wrong he ever indulged in. It would be a day when he would meet his maker and get the opportunity to preach and question the madness. On that ill-fated day in September, they drove my brother's bloody, bruised, listless 30-year-old body 700 miles to a prison. No, not a hospital, to a prison. They left him on the floor of a filthy prison cell, his pain growing by the minute and his hopes fading even faster. I imagine Stephen prayed to his Lord, asking that his courage not go in vain, praying that somebody with courage and a voice would come and replace him. I imagine that he cried in vain, wishing and hoping that he could stay and finish what he had started. I imagine Stephen thought about his wife and his children. I'm sure he wondered what life for them would be like without him. I imagine he thought and thought and thought until his thoughts turned into dreams. He lay there for 24 hours in squalor, not able to move or speak or cry out. I imagine his last thoughts were probably a struggle between his life choices and the reality of death. But whatever Stephen's final thoughts were, there's one thing certain. That it was and always have been God's decision. It has been over 30 years since Stephen went to heaven, but the pain still lingers on. The 1995 amnesty given to the 5 government-paid protectors of the law turns my wall of pain into a tsunami. The government-approved amnesty to get the stories out. They wanted to get the undiscovered truths told. They wanted to get the bodies of the missing returned to their families. This was a noble attempt to close the door of all the unanswered questions. But this attempt was a dagger-filled rip at the hearts of the people who cared. It has been hard to feel thankful to those who helped orchestrate the murders in the first place. When I sit back and think of the killers eating dinner with their families, sharing love and laughter, I get lumps in my throat that my saliva won't even push down. Every time I think of Stephen and the other 4,500 freedom martyrs that died, and not in vain, I cry silently in a place where no one sees. Every time I look at Stephen's picture, I feel that great wall of pain. I wish I could have been there in South Africa. I wish that I could have shouted freedom with my people. I wish I could have spoken to this man face to face to find out where he got this courage of a king. I wish I could have been there for my brother and my people. And the fact that this will never be makes the pain more intense. 30 years is a long time to carry sorrowful memories and pain. At some point, you just got to let go. I mean, I thought that if I led my own marches and protest in the States, I would feel better. I did feel better, but not enough. I thought that when apartheid was denounced and disbanded. I would feel better. I was jubilant. But it wasn't enough. I mean, I thought that when they freed Nelson Mandela, I would feel better. I was overcome with joy and just total excitement. But it was not enough. Something was always missing. And maybe it was the fact that so many wouldn't get the chance to celebrate and enjoy their taste of freedom. Some say, you're a little too emotional, you know. I mean, it's so far away, so long ago. You know, why do you even care? And I tell them, I care for the same reasons you cried for the Kennedys, Martin Luther King, John Lennon, and John Wayne. My reasons for caring are another story in its own. Getting rid of the pain is the first step of letting go. So, over the years, I've developed some techniques. I hope they help you. Because even though my pain is a pain from a struggle, a historical struggle, pain is pain. And it feels real all the time. And I hope these techniques can help you let go of grief and stored up pain. Write your memories in a pain diary. Lock them in and only visit them when you are strong enough to grow from them. Go out of your way and show love to someone outside of your circle. An elderly neighbor, a stranger on the train. Give something you absolutely adore and love to someone who needs it more than yourself. Donate money to a reputable charity that fights a cause that you believe in. And if you don't have the money, give them your time. Start a support group to share and grow with others that have similar feelings, similar experiences, similar pain. Plant a tree in the memory of your person, place, or thing. Feed it your feelings and watch it grow into something alive and wondrous. Whether it's your sister, your brother, your mother, someone you know, your beloved pet, letting go is the only way to grow. Stephen, my brother, may God keep you, and may you reign in His glorious heaven. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen, for allowing us to be a part of your courage.